Trevor Douglas Bussey, back with another edition, a whiteboard session. I told myself we would name these at some point so I can come up with a good name. So you guys submit your submissions. What should we call these sessions? Drop it in the comments below if you're watching this on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. Welcome. As always, today we're going to be talking about it's about why, not how. What do we mean? Well, let's get into it. Let's go to work. One of the things that we talk about when we're talking with our clients, whether consulting or coaching clients, it's about helping them fixate on the right thing. And so a lot of times when businesses are stuck, when they want to grow, when they want to leap to the next level, whatever the case may be, they are getting caught up in one or two places, right? And most people get caught up in this place of how do we do this thing? How do we grow? How do we get more customers? How do we increase revenue? How do we get the bottom line? How do we get more talent in, better talent, whatever the case may be. A lot of the fixation is on the HOW, the how. And how can include many different things. So people will say, well, it's on Facebook ads, or it's on TikTok ads, or it's on more sales, right? Better leads. It's on more productivity, right? So if you have manufacturing, right, how can we be more productive and create more output in our factories or whatever the case may be? So any of these things can be one of the things, and then there'll be a subset of what we should do. Should we optimize the factory? Should we hire a new lead generation or create a new lead generation software? When it comes to sales, should we go with Salesforce or should we implement some other aspect, right? So a lot of it is based on the how. How do we do this? How? A lot of people, when they come to either us for coaching or other people, they're looking at a mastermind or something like that. They're looking at what are the secret tactics that people are doing that can allow them to unleash more momentum and get greater results out of what they're doing. And so a lot of the people are always looking for the next best thing. And so those are all good things to be able to know, right? It's always good to be able to know how to do something. But what I want to get you to understand is why the why is greater than the how. And there's a couple things I want to focus on today that I hope will be helpful for you, right? Oh, my audio is low. And put the button. Is that better? Give me a thumbs up and let me know if that's better. You can hear me. That means I have to go back over and talk over everything again. Do I need to do that? Well, let me just recap in 20 seconds what I was saying in 2 minutes, which is basically most people focus on or fixate on the how. The tactics that they can use to be able to increase. All right, perfect. We're much better in the audio. So to be able to increase what they're doing to get more results, more output, more money, more results, better people on their team, more productivity, whatever the case may be, they are looking for those things in their business. And so the question, all the meetings that they have is on what can we do? What can we do to be able to implement this, right? And so what I want to talk about today is why the why is better or bigger than the how, why it matters more, why it's more impactful. And this is also a key because one of the things that entrepreneurs and leaders have to recognize as their business is growing is that the know-how is important at a certain level, but at a certain point, it's the know why that matters more. And here's what I mean. When you are focused on, let's just take running ads, for instance, right? So when it comes to doing, say, Facebook ads, right? You need to know how to do the pixels, set up an audience, write the copy. You need to know how to edit video, shoot and edit. You might need to know how to do the buy, ad buy, right? You need to know how to split test. You need to know how to aggregate the data, right? All of these are different things that you need to know how to do. But any of these things by themselves can be valuable. But the bigger purpose that you need to know is why you need to do all these things. For instance, why does it matter that you need to know about the pixels, right? Why do you need to set that up is more important. The audience, why do I need to know what kind of audience that I'm going to be targeting and who I'm going to be reaching out to? Because I can know how to reach them, that's great. But I need to know why I want to reach them, that's more important. The why is more important because I can reach any audience, but if it's the wrong audience and I don't know that, then it doesn't matter how great my copy is, it doesn't matter how much data I have, all it's going to show me is that it's not working. And what happens more often than not is that when things aren't working, the first question people ask is, why? Why isn't it working? And that's the part that they don't know. So even though we're using Facebook ads as an example, it could be any aspect of your business, any aspect of what you're doing. Messaging, sales, advertising, manufacturing, productivity, hiring, firing, whatever the case may be. Knowing how to do it is important. That's competence. But knowing why you need to do it creates clarity. And clarity is more important, right? So let's put that up there. Competence versus clarity. I love how Myron Golden talks about this, and he talks about the 5 levels of creating wealth, right? And the highest level, is imagination. And the lowest level is implementation. And that is using your muscle, using your hands. And you think about it in this way, right? So if you're on a farm and you're the one that's tilling the soil, you are riding around, you're on the tractor and doing those things of that nature. That is a competence, that is the muscle, but as the lowest level, right? People get paid by the hour to do those things. We pay farm workers by the hour to pick the cotton or pick the fruit from the fields, things of that nature. The more important thing is to understand the implementation. Where is this going to be going? What's the distribution network? Who are we going to sell this to? How are we going to price this? What is the index and the commodities telling us that grains and futures and things of that nature? How's that playing in the stock market? And how is that going to affect what we're doing on the day-to-day? You need to know why you're planting certain crops at a certain time. You need to know why you are harvesting them in a certain manner, why you need to get certain machines and machinery, why you need to use machines versus people. All those things are much more important. And that higher level of thinking is what allows you to be able to make more money. In a business, you need people that understand the why versus just the how. Now, how is part of it, but how without the why is pointless because now it's just activity, it's not productivity. Why without the how is vision without implementation. And so you need both of those together. But why do we focus primarily on the why and then the how when we're dealing with our clients and things of that nature? Well, let me illustrate it this way. So one of the things that we deal with when we're talking to our clients is helping them understand there's an escalation of value, right? And when I talk about escalation of value, what I'm saying is that essentially, if you want to be able to build a business that produces at a high level, you need to be able to escalate the level of value that you create. Like I said, implementation is the lowest level of value, and imagination is the highest. Now, in between there's some other levels right there. I'll refer you to Myron Golden. He's got teachings on that. I'm not snatching that away, but I want to use that as a framework to kind of illustrate what we're talking about here and understanding why that framework is important. When you have a framework, it allows you to be able to navigate chaos much more easily. If Facebook were to go away tomorrow, would you know how to get your next customer? If the internet was to go down for a month, would you know how to get your next customer? And what the pandemic showed was that a lot of people were dependent on certain tactics. And when those tactics went away, they didn't know what to do. The world ground to a halt. Now, granted, everybody was in the same position, but those who were able to make the pivot and understand more clearly what the why was are the ones that were not able to only survive, but also be able to thrive in the coming months and the past 2 years, and been able to come out of this situation much more better positioned to be successful. And as we are talking about a global recession, and people are arguing about whether it is or whether it isn't, at the end of the day, principles and the why are the things that are much more impactful for your business than just tactics, because the tactics can change. Let me write that down, right? Tactics can change. Because the tactics don't matter. The tactics only matter based on the strategy that you're using. And the strategy that you're using only matters based on certain principles that you can apply. If you don't have the principles, the framework to put that thinking inside of, then you don't have the necessary frame of reference to be able to navigate different decisions. So when we talk about in our Scalosity model, we talk about the principles of mindset, right? How you're thinking, how you think about things determines what you will do. And so if you're looking at what you're going to do, but you're not looking at your thinking, then you're actually undercutting your own process. You're undercutting your possibilities for growth and power in your business being able to scale. In terms of what you want to be able to do, you need to examine your thinking first before you examine your actions. Only examine your actions through the lens of what were we thinking when we did this? What was the outcome that we were trying to create, et cetera, et cetera. So let me know in the comments if this has been valuable for you, if you're understanding where we're coming from, because that's the only reason we do it. We want to make sure that it's meaningful and it matters to you. And I want to say this part about it, right? Tactics are sexy. It's easy to look at tactics and say, oh, this is working. This is going to generate an extra $100,000 in our business every month. Or this is going to generate an extra $5,000 a week. Or we can do this and we can do that. And so it's sexy because there's an immediate adrenaline rush. There's an immediate dopamine hit when we can see that implementing this tactic will get us a certain result, right? But that's fast food, right? And that's not a sustainable model. It's also not a healthy model, just like fast food isn't healthy to eat as a steady diet. So you can plug in certain tactics from time to time that can work. But the tactics always have to be related to your overall principles of running a thing. I love Ray Dalio in the book Principles, because he talks about those things. And the reason why he was able to be so successful with Bridgewater and his company was because they learned how to navigate through principles. And that's understanding the why. Why are we doing what we're doing? What is the outcome that we want to create? And why are we focused on that outcome? And when you can be focused on that long term, what you're able to create over time is more consistent results and more inevitable results. Tactics are reliant on outside influences, right? So anybody can shift those tactics at any point if you're relying on something else, right? This is why if you are using social media, a lot of people will say you need to be omnipresent and everywhere. In reality, you probably only need to be one or two places primarily, because what you're trying to accomplish can be best accomplished in one frame versus another. However, if you understand why you want to be omnipresent, why you want to be seen and visible in all those spaces, why it matters and why it's yielding you results, then that's going to be more helpful than just spraying and praying, in essence, and putting out content, or spraying and praying and putting out ads, right? So this is why some companies are still advertising on television when they really should be on social media. And some companies will actually see more results on television or cable TV or streaming services than they would just being on social media or on their own platforms. Again, the question you always have to ask yourself is, why are we doing what we're doing? And are we getting what we want from what we're doing? So hopefully that's valuable for you. This is Frederick Bussey. I'm the founder of Icon Status, a consulting and coaching agency. We work with clients to help them to scale their businesses to 7, 8, 9 figures and beyond. We help them to get clarity in what they're doing, understanding these principles and how to apply the proper frameworks to navigate these choppy seas that we call life and the world. So if you are someone who is in the middle of a momentum downturn, so to speak, and you want to be able to get momentum going, to be able to scale, to be able to make a pivot and implement a next level of thinking into your company or your organization, then maybe you should send us a message, give us a call, let us know what you're thinking, what you're working on, and let's see if it's a good fit for you to be able to connect with us and us to be able to support you in where you want to go. My name is Frederick Douglass Bussey. As always, it's been great having you here, whether for a second or a minute. Let me know in the comments what you've been discovering. If you're on LinkedIn or Facebook, if you're on YouTube, give us a thumbs up and like and subscribe as well. And we look forward to seeing you on the next edition of our whiteboard sessions. As always, ever forward.